Hi guys, today I want to show you how to make these cute Valentine's Day cookies, sweetheart or love heart cookies, which I think are a really good DIY gift for someone for the Valentine's Day. Why it is so difficult for me to say it. So for Valentine's Day, and I'm gonna show you how to make these. Whenever I'm making royal icing, I use this meringue powder from Wilton, which is a great egg white substitute, and in this case you don't have to worry about the egg whites. So it comes with the recipe. So here at the back you have the recipe, and it's really simple and easy to make. So I'm going to show you how to make it. So you just want to add all of the ingredients into a bowl. So I have my powdered sugar, and then I also have the meringue powder and some water. And then what you want to do is just to beat the mix until it forms stiff peaks. And I suggest you start on a low setting so that it doesn't go flying all over your kitchen. And then once you've mixed the ingredients long enough, you should have a royal icing that's looking like this. It should be really thick and form stiff peaks. And then we can start coloring the royal icing. And before we start coloring the royal icing, we want to add a little bit of water to it, because now it's really thick. So with the recipe from Wilton, which is on the package, you get like a really thick consistency. So you can see here, this is not really going to be pipeable. So, or well, it is, but for a different purpose. So if you're going to make some flowers or something like that out of royal icing, so like decorations, then this would be a perfect consistency. But because we are going to pipe it, we want to add a little bit of water. So first I'm gonna add just a teaspoonful, and just slowly work it in. This one is going to be for piping the outlines and also for piping the letters on top of the cookies. So I don't want this to be really runny, but so that it's more pipeable. It's still very thick, so I'm gonna add in about another teaspoonful. I think it needs a tiny bit more water, so I'm just gonna add in another 1 teaspoon. You could also add a little less at a time, but I think it needs just about that, so that it's a tiny bit more runnier but not too runny. So now I'm happy with the consistency of this one. As I said, this will be for piping the outline and for piping the letters. So you can see it still holds together really well, but it's much softer than it was at the beginning. So I'm gonna leave this aside, and then I have four jars like this, where I have the other icing, which I'm gonna make much runnier, because this is the one that I'm gonna use to flood the cookies. So I'm gonna add in 2 teaspoons right away and just mix that in. Also, if you accidentally add in too much, what you can do is just leave a little bit of that royal icing aside, and then if you add in too much water, then you can add in more of that thicker royal icing to kind of make the whole thing a bit thicker again. And actually for these 4, what you could do is you could mix them in one big bowl, so you don't have to do it separately. Good ideas come too late, so I should have done that as well. But now I've added 2 tablespoons and it's still quite thick. Teaspoons, yeah, 2 teaspoons, and it's still quite thick, so I'm gonna add in 1 more. So you can see already it's much thinner than the other one. So the one that we made for outlining and to pipe the letters. So this one is really falling from the spatula real fast. And what we just want to check is that the pattern that it makes disappears. So it's still not too runny, but I think it's runny enough. So you want it to leave the pattern, but so that the pattern disappears in a couple of seconds. And as I said, you should do this in one bowl. It will save you time. Now I'm just gonna make the rest of the 3 that I have, and then I will show you how to color the icing. And so then when you have the icing at the right consistency, you can start coloring it. I'm only going to color this, which is the thicker one, to like a stronger or a brighter color. And I'm gonna color it with red. I know the original candy actually has it in pink, but I want to make it red. I think it will stand out more, and hopefully it's still gonna look pretty. So you just want to start with a little bit and mix it well to see if you're happy with the color, and then you can add in more if needed. And just like that, I've changed my mind, so I'm gonna make it pink after all, or darker shade of pink. So now that I have a little bit of red in there already, I'm also going to add in a little bit of pink and give it a good mix. So I'm happy with this color, and I'm gonna keep it like this, so I'm not gonna add in more. I think it's dark enough. It will stand out on top of the pale pastel colors. Then when it comes to coloring the rest of the icing, you want to be really careful, as if you want to make a really light color, you really want to add a really tiny bit. So I only have a little bit of the pink on a toothpick, and then I'm just gonna mix that in, and you can see it colors even with that tiny bit of color. So if you want a really, really pale color, then don't add too much, because it will already give a nice color with just a little bit of it. And then once you have all the colors ready, you want to transfer them into a piping bag, and you can start decorating the cookies. I have the darker red icing here, which is the one that I made a little bit thicker, and I'm gonna use this one to make the outline. And then you can use this kind of a scribe tool or a wooden toothpick like I'm doing here. I actually have the scribe tool, but I'm not sure where it is, so I'm just gonna use a toothpick to correct any lines that are not quite straight. And then you want to take one of the pastel colored icings and flood the cookie. So just pipe some icing over the cookie, and then again we are going to help with a toothpick to cover the complete cookie. when you have two different consistencies of icing, the one that is thicker helps to keep the one that is more liquid-like inside. Why you don't want to make all of it thick is because it doesn't spread so evenly, and so it doesn't look as pretty when you cover the cookie. And for the thicker icing, I also have a piping tip, like you can see. It's a piping tip with a small nozzle, and it helps you to kind of pipe, so you don't need a piping tip for the rest of the icing, but for the thicker one I would really suggest to use a piping tip. Makes it just a little bit easier. While piping the outline, you want to be really patient. Go slow and don't press the piping back too hard so you don't get too much icing. So just go really slow and be patient. And then once you've piped all of the cookies, you want to leave them aside to dry. I would suggest to dry them overnight before you proceed with writing on them. Once your cookies are dry, so when you touch it like this, it doesn't leave any marks and it's dry, you can start writing on them. And for writing, we are using again the thicker icing, and you can write whatever sweet sayings you want to write on the cookies, or actually sweet words because they're quite small, so you cannot fit that much. And here again, you want to be patient when piping. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you're going to make these cookies for someone special, let me know who you are making them for and which kind of words you are going to use for the cookies. I try to include the ones that are short and that are gonna fit a small cookie, but you can of course make a little bit bigger hard cookies, and then you can fit maybe short sentences as well. For the sugar cookie recipe, you want to check the link down below in the description box to my website, and there you can find the sugar cookie recipe and also the recipe for the or the instructions for the icing. If you like this tutorial, don't forget that thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, you can subscribe over here, and if you tap the bell, then you won't miss any of the new videos. Thank you for watching my video. Bye bye until next time.